When my daughter married a stranger, I kept her inheritance secret. Something felt off, and weeks later they showed up at my door with a lawyer without me knowing that this very man was hiding the truth. My name is Elijah Mensah. I am 62 years old. I was born in Kumasi and raised between Ghana and Maryland. I worked for 37 years as a property developer and civil contractor. Roads, homes, warehouses, the kind of work that teaches you patience and silence. I am a widower. My wife Ijoa passed away 9 years ago. We had one child, my daughter Nia. This story is not about money alone. It is about instinct, betrayal, and the quiet kind of revenge that lets truth do the screaming. Stay with me because what I discovered almost destroyed my family and saved it at the same time. I have always believed a father knows when something is wrong. Not because we are smarter, but because we have already made every mistake our children are about to make. When Nia told me she was getting married, I smiled and hugged her. But inside something felt heavy. She had met the man only 4 months earlier. His name was Marcus Hale. Charming voice, perfect posture, eyes that never rested. He said all the right things too quickly. Successful consultant, international work, no close family, no old friends at the wedding. I noticed these things because that is what builders do. We inspect foundations. Before her wedding I made a decision I told no one about. Nia was the sole beneficiary of her mother's inheritance, properties, trusts, and a private investment account worth several million. I quietly moved everything into a protected family trust with delayed disclosure clauses, not to control her life but to protect it. I told myself if Marcus was genuine, time would reveal it. If he was not, time would expose him. The wedding was beautiful, expensive, rushed. Marcus insisted on handling all paperwork himself, visas, joint accounts, legal filings. I warned Nia gently. She laughed and said, "Dad, you worry too much." I let it go because love has to learn some lessons alone. 3 weeks later they moved into a luxury rental far beyond what Marcus claimed he could afford. He said it was a short-term corporate benefit. I nodded and kept quiet. Then the calls started to slow. My daughter, who used to call me every night, suddenly sounded rushed, distracted, monitored. I could hear him in the background correcting her sentences, finishing her thoughts, ownership disguised as care. Then one afternoon they showed up at my door unannounced. Marcus in a tailored suit, Nia unusually silent, and a lawyer I did not recognize. No greeting, no warmth, just documents. Marcus spoke smoothly and said, "We are here to formalize access to Nia inheritance. There is some confusion with the accounts." His lawyer slid papers across my table: power of attorney, asset disclosure, immediate transfer requests. I looked at my daughter and asked if this was what she wanted. She hesitated just a second too long. Marcus squeezed her hand and answered for her. I felt something cold settle in my chest. I calmly said I would review everything and respond through my attorney. Marcus' smile tightened. The lawyer frowned. They left irritated. That night I made calls I had hoped I would never need to make. Former colleagues, private investigators, an old banker friend. I did not tell them who Marcus was to me. I just asked for the truth. Within 48 hours the truth came knocking hard. Marcus Hale was not his real name. He had been married twice before under different identities. Both marriages ended with restraining orders and missing funds. He specialized in targeting women with family wealth, moving fast, isolating them, pushing legal access early. He had pending civil suits in 2 states, under different aliases, and the consulting firm he claimed to work for did not exist. But that was not the worst part. 3 days after the visit, my investigators sent me bank screenshots. Marcus had already taken out loans using Nia's signature, forged but convincing, leveraging expected inheritance that did not yet legally exist. He was building debt in her name, planning to disappear once the money cleared. I did not confront him. Confrontation is what men like him expect. Instead I waited and I planned. I invited them to dinner, acted warm, apologetic, said I had misunderstood. Marcus relaxed immediately. Predators do when they think they have won. I told him I would sign once my lawyer finalized the trust release date. What Marcus did not know was that my lawyer was working with the District Financial Crimes Unit, and my dinner invitation was the same night they were finalizing their case. At dinner Marcus drank expensive wine and talked about future investments he would make with my money. Nia sat quietly, eyes tired. When he stepped away to take a call, I reached across the table and squeezed my daughter's hand and whispered, "I know everything. You are safe. Trust me and stay calm." Her eyes filled but she nodded. 2 days later Marcus returned with the same lawyer demanding immediate signatures. This time he was aggressive, impatient. I told him the funds would be released that afternoon but only at the bank with witnesses. Greed makes people careless, he agreed. At the bank conference room Marcus smiled like a man about to be crowned. He sat beside Nia not knowing the man across from him was not my banker but a federal investigator. The woman entering behind him was not a clerk but one of his former victims. The lawyer he brought froze when he saw the badges. The room went silent as they laid out everything. False identities, forged signatures, interstate fraud, emotional abuse, coercion. His face collapsed, not in anger but panic. He turned to Nia and started blaming her, saying she set him up. That is when she stood up for the first time in weeks and said, "You chose me because you thought I was alone. You forgot I have a father." Marcus was arrested in that room. The lawyer lost his license months later for knowingly participating. The loans were frozen and reversed. My daughter's name was cleared, but revenge was not done yet. I did not take Marcus to court for damages. Instead I testified quietly and let the system work. Fair revenge is not loud. It is permanent. Marcus is now serving time for financial crimes. His methods exposed, his network dismantled. He will never do this again. Nia moved back home for a while. Healing is not fast. Trust does not return on command. I did not lecture her. I cooked. I listened. I rebuilt what he tried to break. 6 months later she returned to her career stronger, wiser, independent. Last week she stood beside me as we finalized the trust. This time fully disclosed, fully protected. She smiled and said thank you for seeing what I could not, and I told her that is what fathers are for. If you are watching this and something feels off, listen to that feeling. Love should not rush you into silence, and money reveals character faster than hardship ever will. I kept her inheritance secret not to control her life but to save it, and the man who thought he was hiding the truth learned too late that patience beats greed every time. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell me, what would you have done if you were in my place?